What's up, dudes? I'm the Dominicator, and in this video, I'm gonna hypnotize you to forget your name. As in all of my videos, you'll be asked to leave a comment at the end while hypnotized. So go ahead and log into an account that you can use for that. Mute any distractions, then continue when you're ready to get hypnotized. Alright, dudes, to begin, I just want you to look at the spiral in front of you, and to watch it as it goes back and forth. Then, as you fixate your attention on it, I just want you to listen to the sound of my voice, and notice what a relaxing and pleasant sound that it is. And the longer that you listen to it, the more that it relaxes you. The more that it relaxes you, the more pleasant that you feel. And as you continue to look at the spiral in front of you, you'll notice that it also has a relaxing feeling about it. And it just seems to melt away all of your thoughts and cares and worries. And the longer that you look at it, the more that you can feel a magnetic and a pulling, a compelling feeling about it that just draws your focus and draws your attention towards it. And as you look at the spiral in front of you, as it sways back and forth, and I just want you to come up with, or to remember, names that sound like yours. Names that perhaps begin with the first letter, or names that rhyme with your own. And as you continue to look at the spiral in front of you, and as you feel the relaxing effects of that and the sound of my voice, then you'll also feel a heavy feeling. A heavy feeling that just seems to melt away all of the thoughts and cares and worries inside your mind. And even to come up with those names, that becomes an even more tiring process. The more that you look at the spiral in front of you, that you listen to the sound of my voice, the more that you can imagine all of those names just melting away and giving way to a wonderful and pleasant and relaxing feeling instead. And at any moment, then you might simply relax so much that all of those names just melt away. They just melt away with the sound of my voice as you feel a wonderful, warm, and masculine, dominant tone from the sound of my voice and just wraps around your mind like a blanket. And the longer that you listen, the more that you simply relax instead. The more that you feel that wonderful and mind-melting feeling instead. That just feels so good. That you could continue to sink down, to go down, drop down even further and even faster into it. That just feels so good. That you feel a tiring and a heavy feeling that comes over the eyelids and over the mind as well. That at any moment you could drop down into a nice and dreamy and sleepy state of mind. A state of mind in which all that you'll want to do is just to listen to the sound of my voice, to take in the suggestions that I give you. That just feels so good. That the further down that you drift into that dreamy state, the better that you feel. In a moment I'm going to snap my fingers and say the word sleep, and when I do, then those heavy and tired eyelids are just going to close all by themselves. And when they do, you'll drop down even more, even further and even faster into that wonderful and dreamlike and sleep-like state. The eyelids will just shut down all by themselves, and the mind will just shut down all by itself as you drift down into that state. Now you can feel the feeling of that heavy and tired state of mind, those heavy and tired eyelids, as that tension and that sleepiness just builds up so much that at any moment you could snap down into that state. But now, sleep. Sleep as you go down, drop down, and drift down even further. It just feels better and better. The more that you sink down and drift down into the sound of my voice, it feels even better. As you feel a wonderful, warm blanket that just wraps around your mind. That just just melts away all of the thoughts in your mind. And you feel such a heavy feeling inside of the mind so much that it can't even hold up a thought at all. And all you want to do is just to continue to relax. All you want to do is just to continue to sink down and drop down even further, and even faster into that wonderful and mind-melting state. And in fact, you might feel as if all the memories of those names are just melting away. That's the memory of those names, and of each and every single thought that happens to rise up or float up inside of your mind, it just melts away even more so. Even more so the longer that you continue to relax and feel those wonderful waves of pleasantness instead. And you can feel and imagine just as if the memory of your own name is drifting away from you. And yet the further that it drifts away, the better that you feel. The better that you feel as you feel that wonderful, mind-melting feeling so much more as that memory fades away. And the further away that it goes, the more that you might chase after it. You'll feel just like a dog chasing a cat, or a cat chasing a mouse. And the more that you run after it, the further away that it goes. The further away that it goes, and the more that it runs away, the faster that it runs away. The more that you try to chase it, but the further away that it drifts, the further away that it runs. And it will sink down and settle down all the way inside of your unconscious mind until much later you happen to remember that name. All of a sudden, it will hit you just like a ton of bricks, and all of a sudden you'll remember that name. But until then, instead of the memory of that name, you can feel wonderful waves of pleasantness and relaxation as you continue to sink down, to go down, to drift into a nice and dreamy and sleep-like state, a state of mind that just feels so good you could continue to sink into it forever. But in a moment's time, I'm going to count you back up on the count of 1 to 3. Man, once I reach 3, and I'm going to snap my fingers when I do, you'll come back up into a nice and half awake and half asleep state of mind. A state of mind in which you'll feel a magnetic and a compulsive force that seems to move your body and to move your mind all by itself. And I want you to leave a comment that says, "I got hypnotized to forget my name." And you'll find that the memory of that name is just gone, it's erased, and instead you feel wonderful waves of pleasantness, wonderful waves of relaxation, wonderful waves of mind-melting relaxation instead of the memory of that name. Man, you'll feel those wonderful waves of mind-melting relaxation and pleasantness for as long as you've forgotten your name. When I count from 1 to 3, then I'll snap my fingers, your eyes will open, and you'll come back into a nice and half awake and half asleep state, a state of mind in which your body and your mind seems to move all by itself to leave a comment that says, "I got hypnotized to forget my name." And once you do leave that comment, you'll feel a wonderful wave of pleasantness and of pleasure all throughout your body and throughout your mind. It'll feel just so good, just to completely and totally let go of that memory. And the more that you do, the better that you'll feel. And in fact, you might try to remember it, but the more that you try, the more that other and similar sounding names will appear and will rise up and float out from deep inside of your unconscious mind. You may even be holding on to a bit of that memory, but the moment that I snap my fingers and you snap back into the waking world, then the shock of coming back up will just cause that memory to pop right out of your mind. Man, it'll feel so good when it does so. And now, beginning with 1, as you feel a lifting and a rising feeling that takes you back up into the waking world, and just feels so good to feel that rush of energy. Man, 2, coming up even further, even faster, feeling so good as you do so. And now 3, eyes open and wide awake. Alright dudes, like, subscribe, and check out Dominicator.com to check out my digital downloads or to schedule an appointment with me to get hypnotized. Catch you later dudes.